Hello and welcome, you're watching Head to Head. Youth was among the driving forces in the times of Revolution of Dignity. Today, 4 years after the revolution, Ukraine still desperately needs new leaders, the young people capable and ambitious enough to take responsibility for the future development of the country. So what must be done to help these new leaders emerge, and who can help the young people realize that they can achieve more? To discuss this, we welcome in our studio today Roman Tychkivskyi, the head of the Ukrainian Leadership Academy. Hello and thank you for joining us.
Hi, pleasure being here.
So first question for the viewers to understand, what is exactly this project, this academy?
The Ukrainian Leadership Academy is a 10-month program of personal and social development based on values for young people who graduate from high school and are about to make a very serious decision who to become and what to do in a future life. So in order to make sure that the most motivated young Ukrainians choose the right thing to do, we are actually inviting them to do a gap year, which is a very typical for Western countries, but still is not accepted by Ukrainian society, in order to give them an opportunity to better feel the Ukrainian society, better understand themselves, and also actually explore some of the international community around the globe, in order to make sure that they choose the right thing which they would like to follow and do in the future.
Now you said it wasn't necessarily classic or traditional in Ukrainian society. How is it perceived by traditional institutions today?
So basically, we are now on the first year of our activity. We are entering basically the fourth year of studies. We are very closely now related with the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Youth and Sport, other official entities of Ukrainian government, both at the national and municipal level, as they see the impact that we bring into communities where we are located, but also on the national level by impacting youth and also trying to bring youth to the national agenda of the government. Because we believe, as youth has become one of the cornerstones of the Revolution of Dignity, it is a new and biggest resource, the biggest value Ukraine has in order to prosper and to continue building itself from within.
What about big universities like Tychkivskyi and all this? How do they, with which eye, with which perception do they see
so
that?
Basically, at the beginning, they would be a bit envy of what we are doing, and they would not understand why we are proposing young, talented Ukrainians to do a gap year program before they actually choose the university, because this is a typical next step what we do after we graduate from high school. But after 10 months in Ukrainian Leadership Academy, we get a much better, stronger personality, and so Ukrainian such universities as Taras Shevchenko, Ukrainian Catholic University of Lviv, or Kyiv-Mohyla Academy gets much better students that have a much higher committed, much better aware of their strengths and their weaknesses, and are determined to do whatever they are. The statistics is very poor in Ukraine. More than 80% of Ukrainians never work according to their diploma. Or when people turn 24, it's about after graduating from the university, they start thinking that they don't belong here because something happened that they wasted more than 6 years of their time. So they start thinking about leaving the country because they cannot connect themselves to this place. And so what we are proposing is, if you are 16 or 17-year-old, do this break. Explore yourself, explore Ukraine, explore the world, and then do the better choice for yourself and for the world in general.
Now I'm going to come after the topic of this brain exodus, because it is an important problem in Ukraine. But I was watching the content of your school on the website. And apparently your students study, quote, in martial arts, ballroom dancing. It's an interesting mix. Then so yoga, athletics. In addition, they also conquer the mountain peaks of Ukraine. Why would a political leader do that? And why, or any kind of leader, why is it important to have this like mens sana in corpore sano kind of mind?
So basically, we are doing personal development and social development. In order for a person to be socially impacted and have being active in any sphere, you need to build yourself first from within. And so we have three components. First component is physical development. You're developing your physical strengths and health in order to continue doing whatever you have, to have energy always, have a balance. Second is emotional development. This is where art steps in. We are learning young Ukrainians to express their emotions in different ways. Most cases that when we face young Ukrainians who are trying to enter Ukrainian Leadership Academy, people have troubles to express themselves. And it always comes from this closure that our society went through during Soviet times. We don't trust each other, etc. There are many different interesting ways how you can motivate young people to express their ideas, thoughts, and emotions. Third component is intellectual development. That's where our great teachers come in, and lots of books that we read and different texts on philosophy, on history, on religion studies, on political studies, in order to show to our students an understanding how human beings have what the evolution was since early times till now in terms of knowledge, in terms of existence of different people, societies, etc., and where we are heading. So in order for them to understand that we are standing now on the shoulders of giants that were in the past, and we are the ones who define what will be today and tomorrow.
No, that's about the development, but about the value. So the project is funded by WNISF, which is also funded by the U.S. government. What kind of leader is it? Does your school, does your training form? Is it convey a method or a message? Is it a Western-like minded leader, or it would be a Ukrainian-like minded leader with Western method?
Okay, so as you saw, Western US Enterprise Fund, which is one of the largest investment funds in Ukraine, has established Ukrainian Leadership Academy in Ukraine, knowing that there is a huge gap between a new generation and actually, let's say, old generation of people who are managing the country at different levels in different spheres. We have a huge gap between young people getting interested in what is going on at the state level, and partly they would prefer rather stay away from it and probably even go abroad. And so we need young people to get responsible and get into it and engage in what's happening in the country. So we are thinking about bringing up a young person who is aware of things that's happening in Ukraine, what Ukraine needs, and also learning from the best world experience in order not to invent the wheel, but to actually bring best practices here. You mentioned the United States. We work closely with Israel. We're trying to learn from Great Britain experience. We are learning from other countries of EU states because we travel and we go on study expeditions to these countries. I can mention Austria, Germany, France, Belgium, where we visited basically in May this year.
So creating this network where Ukrainian can meet other ways of working and other way of leadership.
It's so important for young person in Ukraine to understand that we are the same young people as young people in France or in any other country. We very often think only in terms of Ukraine when we think about the world, and the perception is limited. But when we talk about Ukraine, we can always think about we can have a world view on things that are happening here. And when you see on the development of other developed countries already, you understand that these countries didn't happen in a night or even in 10 years. It took generations for them to become successful. So the challenges that we face here become rather normal, and you start facing them with the optimism because you believe that you are taking responsibility for it, and there are other people around you who are taking commitment to change this country for a better place.
Now, we talked about traveling and discovering other culture, other way of being, and we talked earlier about this brain exodus problem in Ukraine. Your projects focuses on the development of individuals, but these individuals tend to acquire some certain skills that will be more rewarded in other countries, having more languages and having a better situation with the same skills in Ukraine. Why not focusing on a system, helping them having better wage or having better jobs here in the way that, more than developing these individuals, which might risk going out of Ukraine and not come back at one point anyways.
Well, any system is built by personalities, and the existing system, which we always are mentioning as inefficient, we are not happy about it, is also run by people. And so before changing the system, we need to bring up a new generation of people, of new type of Ukrainian, and as many people as there are, is better. So one part, we are building a strong individual, but we are also building a strong team. How we define leadership as something that enables creating opportunities for other people. If I'm a leader, I'm creating opportunities for others. And so, for instance, we just been selecting our new teammates, and we send the final candidates to the village 100 kilometers outside Kyiv in order for them to experience how people live and what desperate conditions. And then they had 2 days training inside this village. They had to go to the houses and to help people get food and actually do some drama theater for these people, work with the kids. For most of them was too shocking to see in what conditions people live in the villages. And so after that, they got out of the village and they say, oh my God, we have to come back here again in order to help these people. So basically what we do during the year, we take very motivated young Ukrainians from all over Ukraine, and we put them in front of the challenges Ukraine is facing. And basically it's about people, and that you are 17 or 16-year-old, you can help these elderly people live better. So do it now. If you need to go and study in the best university in the world, do it, but come back. If you decide to stay in New York or Paris or anywhere else, stay, but don't forget about your country and where you're from, and actually transmit your best experience back home. We are talking today about a concept of global Ukrainian, because a lot of young people are living abroad, and we cannot stop it just by signing a document or something. It's a personal choice. But we believe that after going through Ukrainian Leadership Academy, there will be higher chances that these young people, if they go, they'll come back, and they are united as one big community throughout the country.
Which brings me to the future of these young Ukrainians in Ukraine. How to ensure that at a certain level of power, they won't take the old methods, and they will be able to circumvent the old guard of today, which makes the system what it is today, and which makes the flaws of today. How to ensure that it doesn't happen. So
this is where the values step in. We say that the leadership program, which is we are developing, is based on values, and we are very serious about it. We define values as something that helps you make everyday decisions. And for instance, during the year, if we have students that are not following them, we are excluding them from the process to make sure that young people within the program understand this is serious. And we are trying to establish this mini copy of the society that lives by the law and according to the law. And these laws are the rules that Ukrainian Leadership Academy provides. And at the same time, a personal example is very important. This is where our great teachers step in, and these people who are changing this society for the better today. There are many of them. And I believe that one of the advantages Ukrainian Leadership Academy provides is we become a platform for uniting change agents of different ages who act today in order to bring a positivity into the society right now. And they bring an example to 17, 16-year-old that, despite all the difficulties, you can still be connected to these values of revolution of dignity. You can still dream. You can still be a bit of an idealistic person, and as when you are together,
and be a public figure in the same time.
You can be a public figure at the same time, but you can still fight for dignity and freedom.
Now, so as you said, that was the first year. What's next? What's next for the project?
So basically, for instance, we are now trying to build connection within the global community of Ukrainians. I will be departing for the United States tomorrow, meeting with some people in Silicon Valley in New York, because we want to bring best brains from around the world in order to work with our students here in Ukraine. We want these people who become successful outside the country come here and make our students dream bold and big. So we are growing. We are opening a new location this year. I will not mention it right now. Hope next time. But we will be stepping from 200 students up to 250 already this year. I'm happy to say that this year selection process during the selection process we had 5 times more applicants than we had last year. So the concept itself has proved itself, and we are improving it. And we are more than happy that we can provide the opportunity to more kids that we did last year.
Well, we'll be surely closely. So yeah,
Sure.
follow this project. Thank you for joining us in the studio.
Thank
it was
you
a
very
pleasure
much.
to have you today.
The same for me.
That was Tychkivskyi, the head of the Ukrainian Leadership Academy. Thank you for watching the program, and stay tuned for the rest.